Turns out Rock Bottom has a lobby, and my name's on the guest list. I'm Drake Torrin, 39 years old, and I've been sitting in this particular waiting room for 3 months now, ever since Hartwell Engineering decided my 15 years of service weren't worth keeping around during their restructuring. The coffee in my mug has gone cold while I stare at my laptop screen, scrolling through job listings that all seem to require skills I apparently don't have anymore. The house feels different when you're home all day. Every creak, every settling sound becomes magnified, especially when your wife treats you like furniture that's lost its purpose. Drake, did you even try looking for work today? Zara's voice cuts through the afternoon silence like a blade. She's standing in the doorway of what used to be my home office, still wearing her paralegal outfit from Klein & Associates. Her blonde hair is perfectly styled, makeup flawless even after a full day at work. She looks like success, and I look like, well, like a guy who's been wearing the same jeans for 3 days. I submitted 4 applications, I tell her, which is true. What I don't mention is that I also spent 2 hours researching a consulting opportunity that could pay twice what Hartwell ever did. But Zara's not interested in possibilities anymore, only in appearances. 4 applications. She repeats it like I've confessed to a crime. Jennifer's husband got laid off last month, and he's already got 3 interviews lined up. Jennifer, one of Zara's work friends who seems to measure everyone's worth by their LinkedIn updates. I've heard this comparison twice this week already. Different industries, different timelines, I say, keeping my voice level. Engineering consulting takes longer to... Consulting? Zara laughs, but there's no humor in it. Drake, you need a real job, with a real paycheck. We've got a mortgage, car payments, my student loans. Her student loans, the ones she took out for paralegal certification while I worked 60-hour weeks to keep us afloat. The same loans she never mentions when she's buying new clothes or getting her nails done twice a month. My phone buzzes with a text. I glance at it and see it's from Eli, my old college buddy who tends bar at Murphy's downtown. Drinks tonight? You look like you need to get out of that house. Zara's eyes narrow as she watches me read. Who's that? Eli. Wants to grab a drink. Great. Go spend money we don't have while I figure out how to pay the electric bill. She turns and walks away, her heels clicking against the hardwood floor like a countdown timer. I close the laptop and lean back in my chair. The thing about being underestimated is that people stop paying attention to what you're actually doing. They see what they expect to see. Zara sees a desperate, unemployed husband scrambling for scraps. She doesn't see the severance package I negotiated. 6 months' salary plus benefits, sitting in an account she doesn't know about. She doesn't see the consulting firm that's been courting me for 2 years, waiting for my non-compete clause to expire next month. She sees what I let her see. Murphy's Tavern sits on the corner of 5th and Main, the kind of place that's been serving the same crowd for 20 years. The neon sign flickers between open and ope, but everyone knows what it means. I push through the heavy wooden door and immediately feel better. The smell of fried food and beer, the low murmur of conversation, the clink of glasses. It's honest in a way my house hasn't been lately. Eli waves me over from behind the bar. He's got the kind of face that makes people want to tell him their problems, round, friendly, with eyes that have seen enough to understand without judging. Drake, there's my favorite unemployed engineer. Thanks for the warm introduction, I say, sliding onto a bar stool. Make it a double. Whiskey or therapy? Both. He pours me a Jameson, neat, and leans against the bar. How's domestic bliss treating you? Before I can answer, I hear familiar laughter from the corner booth. Zara's voice, unmistakable even over the bar noise. I turn and see her sitting with 3 other women, including Jennifer and Bree Corlin, her best friend since college. They're all leaning in close, that conspiratorial posture women get when they're sharing secrets. Well, this is awkward, Eli mutters. She said she was working late tonight. I take a sip of whiskey and let it burn away the surprise. Guess paralegal work moved to Murphy's. You want to leave? No. I settle back into my seat, angling myself so I can observe without being obvious. I want to see what working late looks like. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. The women are animated, gesturing with their wine glasses. I catch fragments of conversation when the bar noise dies down. Jennifer's voice carries the most. Told him he needs to step up. And, embarrassing at this point, then I hear my name. Drake's been sitting around the house for months, Zara's saying, her voice carrying that particular tone she uses when she's performing for an audience. I keep telling him he needs to lower his standards, take whatever he can get, but he's still acting like he's some hotshot engineer. Bree leans in closer. What are you going to do? I don't know how much longer I can do this, Zara continues. I'm basically supporting both of us on a paralegal salary. It's not fair. The whiskey in my mouth tastes different now, sharper, more bitter. Eli notices my expression and raises an eyebrow. She doesn't know about the severance, he asks quietly. I shake my head. When I got laid off, I made a decision to keep that information to myself. Call it intuition, call it paranoia, but something told me to wait and see how Zara would react to adversity. Turns out, my instincts were right. Could do so much better, Jennifer's saying now. You're still young, you're beautiful, you've got your career on track. It's not that simple, Zara replies, but she doesn't sound like she's disagreeing. It's exactly that simple, Bree chimes in. You can't let him drag you down with him. I finish my whiskey and signal Eli for another. The conversation in the corner booth continues, but I've heard enough. My wife is taking career advice from a woman whose husband sells insurance and whose biggest life achievement was getting promoted to senior paralegal. You okay? Eli asks. Getting there. I pull out my phone and open my banking app. The severance account shows $187,000, 6 months' salary, unused vacation time, and a consulting bonus from a project I finished before the layoff. Tomorrow, I have a video interview with Morrison Consulting Group, the firm that's been trying to recruit me since 2022. The non-compete expires in 3 weeks, but Zara doesn't know any of this. She's too busy performing her martyrdom for an audience that's encouraging her to abandon ship. My phone buzzes with a text from a number I don't recognize. Hi Drake, this is Bree. Can we talk privately? It's about Zara. I glance toward the corner booth. Bree is looking at her phone, then at me. She gives a small nod. I'll be right back, I tell Eli, and walk toward the restroom. My phone buzzes again. Meet me by the back exit in 5 minutes. There's something you need to know. The alley behind Murphy's smells like garbage and regret, but Bree is waiting there as promised, smoking a cigarette with nervous energy. This is weird, she starts, but I think you should know what's really going on. I'm listening. She takes a long drag and exhales slowly. Zara's been seeing someone. For about 6 weeks now. The words hang in the air between us. I should feel surprised, angry, betrayed. Instead, I feel something closer to relief. The pieces are finally forming a complete picture. Who? Wilder Sornell. He's a personal trainer at that fancy gym downtown, Elite Fitness. They met when Zara signed up for sessions last month. Personal trainer? I almost laugh. Of course. Drake, I'm sorry. I know this is... How do you know? Bree shifts uncomfortably. She's been texting him constantly, and she shows us the messages sometimes, when she's had a few drinks. What kind of messages? The kind married women shouldn't be sending. She drops her cigarette and crushes it under her heel. Look, I know we're not close, but you seem like a decent guy. You don't deserve this. Why are you telling me? Because Jennifer and the others are encouraging her. They think you're... She trails off. A loser. Their words, not mine. I lean against the brick wall and process this information. My wife is having an affair with a personal trainer while I'm supposedly struggling to find work. Her friends are encouraging her to leave me because they think I'm a failure. And all of this is happening while I'm sitting on nearly $200,000 and a job opportunity that could change everything. Bree, can I ask you a favor? She nods. Don't tell Zara we talked. Not yet. Okay, but Drake, what are you going to do? I smile for the first time in weeks. I'm going to give her exactly what she thinks she wants. The Morrison Consulting Group offices occupy 3 floors of a glass tower downtown, the kind of building that makes statements about success and ambition. I'm sitting in their conference room, wearing my best suit, and watching 5 executives review my portfolio on their tablets. The interview has been going well, better than well, actually. Your work on the Henderson project was impressive, says Patricia Morrison, the firm's founder. She's in her 50s, sharp-eyed and direct. 15% efficiency improvement with a 20% cost reduction. That's the kind of thinking we need here. Thank you. I believe in finding solutions that work for everyone involved. When would you be available to start? Asks David Chen, their operations director. My non-compete expires in 2 weeks. I could begin the following Monday. Patricia exchanges glances with her team. Drake, we're prepared to offer you a position as senior consulting engineer, starting salary $140,000, plus performance bonuses and full benefits. Are you interested? I pretend to consider it, though I've already made my decision. Very interested. Thank you. Excellent. We'll have contracts ready by Friday. As I leave the building, I check my phone. 3 missed calls from Zara and a text. Where are you? We need to talk. I don't respond immediately. Instead, I drive to Elite Fitness, the upscale gym where Wilder Sornell works his magic on dissatisfied wives. The parking lot is full of luxury SUVs and sports cars, the kind of place where people pay premium prices to feel better about themselves. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, I can see the workout floor, rows of expensive equipment, mirrors everywhere, and beautiful people in designer athletic wear. It takes me 5 minutes to spot Wilder. He's exactly what I expected. Tall, muscular, perfectly groomed, with the kind of smile that probably works on women who feel neglected by their husbands. He's training a brunette in her 40s, guiding her through some exercise that requires him to stand very close behind her, his hands on her waist. She's laughing at something he said, that breathless laugh women get when they're being charmed by someone who makes them feel young again. My phone buzzes. A text from Zara. Drake, where are you? This is important. I get back in my car and drive home, taking the long way to think through my next moves. The house is quiet when I arrive. Zara's car isn't in the driveway yet. I go to my office and open my laptop, but instead of job searching, I create a new email account and begin researching Wilder Sornell. Social media makes detective work easy these days. Wilder's Instagram is a masterclass in narcissism, shirtless photos, motivational quotes, pictures of expensive meals and luxury cars. His bio reads, "Transforming lives through fitness," with a fire emoji and a link to his personal training website. I scroll through his posts and find what I'm looking for. 2 weeks ago, a photo of him at Murphy's Tavern with the caption, "Great night out with amazing people." In the background, barely visible, I can make out Zara's profile. The front door slams shut, followed by the sharp click of heels on hardwood. Zara appears in the doorway of my office, still in her work clothes but looking flustered. "We need to talk," she says without preamble. "About what?" She sits down in the chair across from my desk, the same chair where we used to discuss vacation plans and home improvements back when we were a team. Now it feels like an interrogation room. About us? About where this is going? This? Our marriage, Drake. I can't keep pretending everything's okay when it's not. I close my laptop and give her my full attention. What exactly isn't okay? You know what? Her voice has that edge it gets when she's working up to something big. You've been unemployed for 3 months. 3 months, Drake. Do you know what that's like for me? Tell me. It's embarrassing. My friends ask how you're doing, and what am I supposed to say? That you're still exploring opportunities? That you're being selective? She makes air quotes, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Meanwhile, I'm working 50-hour weeks just to keep us afloat. The mortgage is current. The bills are paid. Barely. And for how long? What happens when your unemployment runs out? I could tell her about the severance package. I could mention the job offer I accepted 3 hours ago. Instead, I ask, what do you want me to do, Zara? I want you to face reality, take whatever job you can get, swallow your pride and start bringing in money again. And if I don't? She's quiet for a long moment, staring at her hands. When she looks up, her expression is changed. Harder, more resolved. Then I think we need to consider whether this marriage is working. There it is. The ultimatum I've been expecting since my conversation with Bree 2 nights ago. My wife wants out, but she needs me to be the failure first. She needs to be the victim who tried her best but couldn't save a sinking ship. I see. I lean back in my chair. How long have you been thinking about this? A while. She won't meet my eyes. I've been trying to make it work, Drake, but I can't be the only one fighting for this marriage. Fighting for it. I repeat her words slowly. Is that what you call it? Something flickers across her face. Guilt, maybe, or fear that I know more than I'm letting on. But it passes quickly. I call it being realistic about our situation. And what would a realistic solution look like? I think, she takes a breath, I think we should separate. Give each other some space to figure out what we really want. Space. Yes. You could stay here, and I could move in with Bree for a while, just until we both get our lives back on track. Move in with Bree. The same Bree who told me about the affair, who's been watching this whole drama unfold from the front row. I almost admire the audacity of it. When would this separation start? Soon. Maybe this weekend. That's very specific timing. Drake, I'm trying to be fair here. I'm not asking for a divorce, just some time apart to think. My phone buzzes with a text. I glance at it and see it's from Patricia Morrison. Contract's ready for review. Can you come in tomorrow morning? You're right, I tell Zara. We should be realistic about our situation. Relief floods her face. So you agree? I agree that we should both get what we deserve. She nods eagerly. Exactly. We both deserve to be happy. We do. I stand up and walk around the desk. Zara, can I ask you something? Sure. Are you seeing someone else? The question hangs in the air like smoke. Zara's face goes through several expressions in rapid succession. Surprise, guilt, indignation, and finally, defiance. This isn't about someone else, Drake. This is about us. That's not what I asked. I don't think I should have to answer that. You don't think you should have to answer whether you're having an affair? We're separated, Drake. As of right now, we're separated. As of right now. I nod slowly. So that's a yes. She stands up, her cheeks flushed. I'm going to pack some things. I'll be staying at Bree's tonight. Of course you will. She starts toward the door, then turns back. Drake, I hope you understand that this is for the best, for both of us. I understand perfectly. After she leaves, I sit in the quiet house and make a list. Not a to-do list, but an inventory of everything I know and everything I need to find out. Zara thinks she's leaving a failure behind for a better life with a personal trainer who drives a nice car and has impressive abs. She thinks she's trading up. She has no idea what she's actually walking away from. I open my laptop and begin making some calls. The first is to Patricia Morrison, accepting her job offer. The second is to my bank, transferring funds to open a new checking account. The third is to a private investigator I found online, someone who specializes in documenting extramarital affairs. By the time Zara comes downstairs with her suitcase, I've set several things in motion. She pauses at the front door, looking back at me with what might be regret or might just be performance. "I'll call you in a few days," she says, "when we've both had time to process this. Take all the time you need." She hesitates, like she's expecting me to fight for her, to beg her not to go. When I don't, she opens the door and walks out into the night. I watch her taillights disappear down the street, then I pour myself a whiskey and start planning. Zara wants to play games? Fine. But she's about to learn that some games have consequences she never saw coming. 3 weeks later, I'm sitting in my new office at Morrison Consulting Group, reviewing quarterly reports and feeling something I haven't experienced in months. Satisfaction. The work is challenging, the pay is excellent, and my colleagues actually respect my opinions. It's amazing how much easier life becomes when you're not pretending to be something you're not. My phone buzzes with a text from Bree. "Festival this weekend. Zara will be there with him. Thought you should know." The Riverside Summer Festival happens every August, turning the downtown area into a carnival of food trucks, craft booths, and live music. Half the city shows up, which makes it the perfect place for public displays of new relationships. I'm not surprised Zara wants to debut her personal trainer there. What she doesn't know is that I'll be there too. I've spent the last 3 weeks gathering information, and the picture that's emerged is even more interesting than I expected. Wilder Sornell isn't just a personal trainer with an Instagram obsession. He's also got a history of targeting married clients, a gambling problem, and a tendency to borrow money he can't repay. The private investigator I hired has documented 6 different women who've had affairs with him over the past 2 years, including one whose divorce settlement he helped spend. More importantly, I've learned that Zara has been telling people a very specific story about our separation. According to her version, I became depressed and angry after losing my job, refused to look for work, and basically forced her to leave for her own mental health. She's the victim, I'm the unstable ex-husband, and Wilder is her hero who helped her rediscover her self-worth. It's a compelling narrative. It's also about to be completely destroyed. Saturday morning arrives bright and sunny, perfect festival weather. I put on khakis and a polo shirt, nothing too fancy, just a regular guy enjoying a community event. I drive to the festival grounds and park 3 blocks away, then walk through the crowds looking for familiar faces. I find them at the beer garden, sitting at a picnic table with Jennifer, Bree, and 2 other women I recognize from Zara's work. Wilder is holding court, telling some story that has everyone laughing. He's wearing a tight black t-shirt that shows off his physique and designer sunglasses that probably cost more than most people's car payments. Zara looks different. Her hair is shorter, styled in a way that makes her look younger. She's wearing a sundress I've never seen before, and laughing at Wilder's jokes with the kind of enthusiasm she used to reserve for our early dates. She looks happy, which might bother me if I didn't know what was coming next. I buy a beer and position myself where I can observe without being obvious. Wilder is performing for his audience, flexing casually while he talks, making sure everyone notices his watch, his shoes, his carefully cultivated image of success. The women are eating it up, especially Jennifer, who keeps touching his arm and giggling like a teenager. "Drake?" I turn around and see Patricia Morrison approaching with her husband and teenage daughter. My new boss looks surprised but pleased to see me. "Patricia, hi. Enjoying the festival?" "We never miss it. How are you settling in at the firm?" "Very well, thank you. The Henderson project modifications are ahead of schedule." "Excellent. Oh, this is my husband Robert and my daughter Emma." We shake hands and make small talk about the festival, the weather, the local food trucks. It's a perfectly normal conversation between a boss and her employee, except that it's taking place 20 feet from where my estranged wife is canoodling with her personal trainer. "Well, we should let you get back to your day," Patricia says. "See you Monday." As they walk away, I notice that our conversation has attracted attention. Zara is staring at me with an expression I can't quite read. Surprise, maybe, or confusion. She says something to Wilder, who turns to look at me with the kind of assessment men give each other when they're sizing up potential threats. I raise my beer in a friendly salute and smile. Wilder nods back, but his posture has changed. He's sitting up straighter, his arm more possessively around Zara's shoulders. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Is that your ex? The unemployed guy? I look around and spot the source, a woman at the next table who's obviously been eavesdropping. She's typing on her phone while staring at me. A few seconds later, someone at Zara's table checks their phone, and the whispering begins. This is going better than I planned. I finish my beer and walk toward the main stage, where a local band is setting up for their afternoon set. The festival has a big screen set up next to the stage for announcements and community photos. People can text pictures to be displayed between acts. It's exactly what I've been waiting for. I pull out my phone and open the folder of screenshots the private investigator sent me yesterday. Photos of Zara and Wilder at restaurants, hotels, his apartment. Text message conversations where they mock me and plan their future together. Financial records showing that Zara has been using our joint credit card to pay for their dates while telling me we can't afford groceries. But the best one, the one I've been saving, is a screenshot of a text conversation between Zara and Wilder from 2 weeks ago. She's complaining about having to deal with Drake's pathetic attempts to get me back, and he responds with, "Just tell him you don't date unemployed losers anymore, LOL." I select that screenshot and text it to the festival's photo submission number, along with the message, "Community members sharing their thoughts on local employment issues." Then I wait. The band finishes their sound check, and the screen lights up with the first batch of community photos. Kids at the face painting booth, families posing with festival mascots, couples sharing funnel cakes. Normal, wholesome festival content. Then my screenshot appears. The text conversation fills the entire screen, crystal clear and impossible to miss. Zara's name is at the top, Wilder's response at the bottom, and between them is a conversation that reveals exactly what they really think about the husband she left behind. The crowd near the stage starts murmuring, pointing at the screen. People are taking photos of the display with their phones. The murmur spreads outward like ripples in a pond as more people notice what they're seeing. I look toward the beer garden and see chaos erupting at Zara's table. She's staring at the screen in horror while Jennifer and the others lean in to read the messages. Wilder has gone pale under his tan, his head swiveling as he realizes that everyone around them is staring and whispering. Zara stands up abruptly, knocking over her drink. She says something to Wilder, who shakes his head and points at the screen. They're having an argument in front of everyone, their voices rising above the crowd noise. The screen changes to the next photo, a family barbecue, but the damage is done. Half the festival has seen the screenshot, and the other half is hearing about it from the first half. Social media is probably exploding right now. I walk casually toward the beer garden, arriving just as Zara spots me in the crowd. Her face goes through several emotions in rapid succession: humiliation, rage, and finally, desperate calculation. "Drake?" She pushes through the crowd toward me, Wilder close behind. "What did you do?" "I'm enjoying the festival," I say mildly. "Great community event." "You put our private messages on that screen." "Did I? That's terrible. Someone must have hacked your phone." Wilder steps closer, trying to use his size to intimidate me. "This is harassment, man. We could call the cops." "You absolutely should," I agree. "I'm sure they'd be very interested in how you got those private messages between a married couple." He opens his mouth to respond, then closes it as he realizes the logical flaw in his threat. "Drake, please," Zara says, her voice dropping to a desperate whisper. "Can we talk privately?" "I don't think that's appropriate," I reply. "After all, we're separated. You made that very clear." "You're making a scene." "Am I?" I'm just standing here having a conversation. She looks around at the crowd that's gathered to watch our little drama. Phones are out, recording everything. Whatever she says next will probably be on social media within minutes. This is crazy, she says finally. You're acting crazy. I'm acting exactly like someone who doesn't date unemployed losers anymore, I reply, loud enough for the crowd to hear. Isn't that right, Wilder? Several people in the crowd laugh. Someone calls out, "Burn!" from the back. Wilder's face is getting redder by the second. Come on, babe, he says to Zara, taking her arm. Let's get out of here. They push through the crowd toward the parking area, leaving behind their friends and their drinks and what's left of their dignity. I watch them go, then turn to find Bree standing next to me. That was brutal, she says. That was justice. Zara's going to be furious. Good. She should be furious. At herself for thinking she could humiliate me without consequences. Bree studies my face for a moment. You're different than I thought you were. People keep underestimating me. It's becoming a theme. My phone buzzes with notifications, texts, social media mentions, missed calls. The screenshot is already making the rounds online, tagged with the festival's hashtag, and getting shared by people who love a good public meltdown. But this is just the beginning. Zara and Wilder think they can retreat, lick their wounds, and wait for this to blow over. They think this was an emotional outburst from a bitter ex-husband. They have no idea what's coming next. Monday morning brings a series of interesting developments. The first is an email from Patricia Morrison, asking if I'm handling my personal situation appropriately, after someone sent her a link to the festival video that's now been viewed 12,000 times on various social media platforms. The second is a voicemail from Zara, alternating between threats and pleas for me to stop this madness. The third is a text from my private investigator with a single word: jackpot. I'm sitting in my office, reviewing the latest batch of evidence he's compiled, when my assistant buzzes me. Drake, there's a Wilder Sornell here to see you. He doesn't have an appointment. This should be interesting. Send him in. Wilder enters my office like he owns the place, all swagger and barely contained aggression. He's wearing gym clothes and sneakers, probably trying to emphasize our physical differences. What he doesn't realize is that showing up at my workplace uninvited just gave me another advantage. We need to talk, he says without preamble. Do we? Please sit down. I gesture to the chair across from my desk, the same spot where Zara delivered her separation speech a month ago. He remains standing. You embarrassed Zara at that festival. That was messed up, man. I embarrassed her? I lean back in my chair. Wilder, I didn't write those text messages. I didn't send them from her phone. I just made sure people could see what she really thinks about her husband. Ex-husband. Not yet. We're separated, not divorced. There's a difference. His jaw tightens. Look, I get it. You're hurt. But taking it out on her in public is childish. Childish. I tap my pen against my desk. You know what's childish, Wilder? A 38-year-old man who seduces married women and then mocks their husbands in text messages. I didn't seduce anyone. Zara came to me. Right. She just happened to fall for your charms while you were training her. What a coincidence. He shifts uncomfortably. Whatever, man. The point is, you need to back off. Stop posting private stuff online. Stop stalking us. Stalking? I interrupt. Wilder, you came to my office. If anyone's stalking anyone, it's you stalking me. I'm trying to protect Zara from your crazy behavior. How noble. I open my laptop and turn the screen toward him. Speaking of protection, did you know that Zara's been using our joint credit card to pay for your dates, hotel rooms, restaurants, that weekend trip to the coast? She's been financing your relationship with her husband's money. His eyes widen as he reads the credit card statements displayed on my screen. I didn't know that. Of course you didn't. Just like you didn't know she's been telling people I'm unemployed and unstable while I've been working at one of the city's top consulting firms. You got a job? I got a better job, significant pay increase actually, but Zara doesn't know that because she was too busy planning her exit strategy to ask. Wilder stares at the screen, processing this information. I can see the wheels turning in his head, recalculating the situation now that he knows I'm not the desperate failure Zara described. Look, he says finally, maybe we got off on the wrong foot. Zara told me you guys were basically over anyway. We were over the moment she started texting you about not dating unemployed losers. But here's the thing, Wilder. I'm not unemployed, I'm not a loser, and I'm definitely not done. What's that supposed to mean? I close the laptop and stand up. It means you and Zara made this personal when you decided to humiliate me. Now I'm returning the favor. Are you threatening me? I'm informing you. There's a difference. He takes a step closer to my desk, trying to use his size to intimidate me. You better watch yourself, Drake. I'm not some pushover you can mess with. Neither am I. We stare at each other for a moment. Two men who understand that this situation has moved beyond simple adultery into something more serious. Then Wilder turns and walks toward the door. This isn't over, he says. No, it's not. After he leaves, I call my private investigator. Did you get what we discussed? Everything you asked for. Financial records, employment history, background check, social media analysis. This guy's got more red flags than a communist parade. Send me everything. It's time for phase 2. That evening, I drive to Elite Fitness and park across the street. Wilder's shift ends at 8, and I want to see what his routine looks like when he's not performing for clients or trying to intimidate ex-husbands in their offices. At 8:15, he emerges from the gym with another trainer, a blonde woman in her 20s who's laughing at something he said. They walk to his car, a leased BMW that he probably can't actually afford, and have a conversation that looks more intimate than professional. Interesting. I take a few photos with my phone, then follow them to a bar called Nexus, the kind of trendy place that charges $15 for cocktails and plays music too loud for actual conversation. They sit at the bar, order drinks, and continue their obviously flirtatious interaction. I find a table with a good view and order a beer. Wilder is in full performance mode, telling stories that require dramatic gestures and expressions. The blonde trainer, her name tag said Amber, is giving him the kind of attention that suggests this isn't their first after-work drink. My phone buzzes with a text from Zara. Wilder told me about your conversation today. You need to stop this harassment or I'm calling a lawyer. I type back, you should definitely call a lawyer. Ask them about adultery laws and credit card fraud while you're at it. She doesn't respond. At the bar, Wilder and Amber have moved closer together. His hand is on her thigh, her head is on his shoulder. For a man who's supposedly in a serious relationship with my estranged wife, he's being remarkably casual about fidelity. I finish my beer and head home, but not before sending a few photos to my private investigator with instructions to document Wilder's evening activities. If he's cheating on Zara while she's cheating on me, that creates some interesting possibilities for the next phase of my plan. The next morning brings another email from Patricia Morrison, this time asking me to come to her office. I knock on her door at 9 sharp, and she gestures for me to sit down. Drake, I'm going to be direct with you. Someone sent me a video from that festival incident over the weekend, along with some information about your personal situation. I see. I want you to know that your private life is your business, and as long as it doesn't affect your work performance, the firm doesn't get involved in employee personal matters. I appreciate that. However, she continues, I also want to make sure you're handling this situation in a way that won't create problems for you professionally. Public confrontations, social media drama, these things have a way of following people. I understand your concern. The situation is under control. She studies my face for a moment. Drake, you're a valuable employee and a good engineer. Don't let personal revenge destroy your professional future. I won't. Good. Now let's talk about the Morrison account. They want to expand the project scope, and I think you're the right person to lead it. We spend the next hour discussing work, deadlines, and client expectations. It's a relief to focus on something productive, something that doesn't involve adultery and betrayal and carefully orchestrated public humiliation. But as I'm leaving her office, my phone buzzes with a text from Bree. "Zara's moving in with Wilder. Thought you should know." I stop in the hallway and read the message again. Moving in with Wilder. After 6 weeks of dating and 3 days after being publicly humiliated at a community festival. That's either true love or desperation. I'm betting on desperation. I text back, "When?" "This weekend. She's giving up her apartment." Perfect. Zara is about to discover what happens when you build your future on someone else's lies, and Wilder is about to learn that some games have higher stakes than he realized. I go back to my office and start making some calls. The first is to a contact at Wilder's gym, someone who owes me a favor from my engineering days. The second is to a reporter I know who covers local business news. The third is to my lawyer, because what I'm about to do needs to be completely legal and thoroughly documented. Zara thinks she's upgraded her life by trading an unemployed husband for a successful personal trainer. She's about to find out that appearances can be deceiving and that some upgrades are actually downgrades in disguise. The game is about to get much more interesting. Friday evening, I'm sitting in my living room with a glass of wine, reviewing the final phase of my plan, when someone starts pounding on my front door. Not knocking, pounding, like they're trying to break it down. I look through the peephole and see Zara standing on my porch, her face red with fury. Behind her, Wilder lurks near the street, apparently serving as backup muscle for whatever confrontation she's planning. I open the door but leave the chain latch engaged. "Can I help you?" "You destroyed my life," she screams through the gap. "My boss fired me. The landlord won't give me my deposit back. Everyone in town thinks I'm some kind of gold digger," I suggest. "Home wrecker? Credit card thief?" "Let me in, Drake. We're going to settle this right now." "We're settled. You wanted a separation, you got one. You wanted to be with Wilder, you got that too. What more is there to discuss?" "You sabotaged me. You sent those photos to my boss, didn't you?" The photos she's referring to are security camera images from Elite Fitness, showing her and Wilder in compromising positions in his office after hours. My contact at the gym was happy to provide them, especially after I explained how Wilder had been using the facilities for personal business that violated his employment contract. "I didn't send anything to anyone," I say truthfully, "but I'm not responsible for what other people do with publicly available information." "Publicly available? Those were private security cameras." "Actually, they were workplace surveillance cameras in a business that serves the public. There's a legal difference." Wilder steps forward, apparently tired of lurking. "Open the door, Drake. We need to talk face to face." "We talked face to face at my office. You threatened me, remember?" "I didn't threaten you." "You said I better watch myself, and that you're not someone I can mess with. That sounds like a threat to me." Zara pushes against the door, but the chain holds. "Drake, please. I know you're angry, but this has gone too far. I lost my job. Wilder lost his job. We can't find anywhere to rent because of your stupid social media campaign." "My social media campaign? Don't play dumb. Someone's been posting our photos and personal information all over town. Dating apps, rental websites, employment boards. Everyone knows our business now." I smile. "Zara, I haven't posted anything anywhere. But you know how social media works. Once something goes viral, it takes on a life of its own. People share things, comment on things, create their own content based on things they've seen. You started it. I shared one screenshot at a community event. Everything else has been other people reacting to your behavior." Wilder pushes past Zara and puts his face close to the gap in the door. "You think you're so smart, don't you? Sitting in there like some kind of mastermind, pulling strings and ruining people's lives. I'm not ruining anything. I'm just making sure people see the truth about who you really are." "The truth?" Zara laughs bitterly. "You want to talk about truth? The truth is, you're a pathetic, vindictive man who can't handle the fact that his wife found someone better. Someone better. I nod thoughtfully. Is that what you call a personal trainer who's been cheating on you with his co-worker since before you moved in with him? The silence that follows is beautiful. Zara's face goes white, then red, then white again. Wilder takes a step back from the door. That's not true, Zara says, but her voice lacks conviction. Ask him about Amber from the gym. Ask him about their dinner dates and overnight trips while you've been apartment hunting and job searching. Zara turns to look at Wilder, who suddenly seems very interested in studying his shoes. Wilder? Babe, it's not what you think. Oh, it's exactly what she thinks, I interrupt. I have photos, credit card records, hotel registrations. Your boyfriend has been playing the same game with Amber that he played with you. The only difference is that she's not married, so there's no husband to mock in text messages. You're lying. Am I? Wilder, why don't you show Zara your phone? Let her see your text conversations with Amber. Let her see the photos from your trip to Portland last weekend while she was moving her stuff into your apartment. Wilder's silence is answer enough. Zara stares at him with growing horror and understanding. You were with her? Last weekend? Zara, I can explain. You were with her while I was packing my life into boxes and burning every bridge I had for you? It's complicated. She slaps him. Hard. The sound echoes through the quiet neighborhood like a gunshot. Wilder stumbles backward, holding his cheek, and Zara turns back to the door. Drake, please, I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. But I lost everything. My job, my apartment, my friends. Can't we just call it even? Even. I consider this. Zara, you had an affair, stole money from our joint accounts, publicly humiliated me, and tried to destroy my reputation by telling people I was unemployed and unstable. Now you want to call it even because your boyfriend turned out to be exactly the kind of man who would cheat on his wife. I didn't know about Amber. Of course you didn't. Just like you didn't know that I had a better job lined up, or that I had enough money saved to live comfortably while I transitioned careers. You didn't know because you didn't care enough to ask. You just assumed I was a failure and acted accordingly. Tears are running down her face now. What do you want from me, Drake? What will it take for you to stop? I want you to understand that actions have consequences. I want you to realize that the man you thought was an unemployed loser actually had his life together while you were falling apart. And I want you to live with the knowledge that you threw away 15 years of marriage for a man who was cheating on you before you even moved in with him. That's it? You just want me to suffer? I want you to learn. There's a difference. Wilder steps forward again, apparently having recovered from the slap. This is insane, man. You've made your point. We get it. You're smarter than us. You had more money than we thought. You played us. Congratulations. Now leave us alone. I'll leave you alone when you leave town. What? You heard me, both of you. Pack up whatever's left of your lives and go somewhere else. Start over. Find new jobs, new friends, new people to lie to and cheat on. But do it somewhere that isn't my city. You can't make us leave, Zara says. I can't make you do anything, but I can make staying here very uncomfortable. See, the thing about small cities is that everyone knows everyone else's business. And thanks to your festival performance and subsequent social media fame, everyone knows your business now. Do you really want to spend the next few years running into people who remember the unemployed loser text messages? Do you want to keep applying for jobs where the hiring managers have seen the security camera footage from the gym? They exchange glances, and I can see them weighing their options. Stay and fight a battle they can't win, or cut their losses and start fresh somewhere else. If we leave, Zara says quietly, will you stop? No more photos, no more social media, no more whatever this is? If you leave, you'll be someone else's problem. I'll have no reason to think about you at all. She nods slowly. Okay, we'll go. When? Soon. A week, maybe 2. I need time to... This weekend. Drake, that's not enough time. You had enough time to plan an affair and orchestrate a separation. You can find enough time to pack a moving truck. Wilder puts his arm around Zara's shoulders, a gesture that might look protective if I didn't know he'd been cheating on her. Come on, babe. Let's get out of here. They turn to leave, but Zara stops and looks back at me through the gap in the door. I really did love you once, she says. I know. That's what makes this so disappointing. After they leave, I close the door and return to my wine. My phone buzzes with a text from Bree. Saw them at your house. Everything okay? Everything's perfect, I type back. And it is. Zara and Wilder will leave town, probably for someplace where personal trainers and former paralegals can reinvent themselves without the baggage of their past mistakes. They'll try to build something together, but relationships founded on betrayal rarely last. Wilder will cheat again, or Zara will find someone she thinks is a better upgrade, and they'll destroy each other the same way they tried to destroy me. Meanwhile, I'll be here, in the house I kept, at the job I earned, with the money I saved and the reputation I rebuilt. The man they thought was an unemployed loser turned out to be the only one with his life actually together. Sometimes the best revenge is just being better than the people who tried to bring you down. Sometimes it's showing them exactly what they walked away from and making sure they understand they'll never get another chance to have it. My phone rings. It's Patricia Morrison. Drake, I hope I'm not calling too late. I wanted to let you know that the Morrison account was so impressed with your work that they're recommending us for a much larger project. We're talking about a potential 2-year contract worth over $3 million. That's excellent news. It is. And Drake, I know you've had some personal challenges recently, but the way you've handled everything, staying professional, focusing on your work, not letting drama affect your performance, it's exactly the kind of character we value here. Thank you. I appreciate that. After I hang up, I sit in my quiet house and think about the difference between winning and succeeding. Winning is beating someone else. Succeeding is building something that lasts. Zara thought she was winning when she left me for Wilder. She thought she was trading up, getting a better life with a more exciting man. But she was just winning a game that didn't matter, while I was building a success that would last long after her 15 minutes of drama faded away. The best part is that she'll never know how much she actually lost until it's too late to get it back. And by then, I'll be too busy succeeding to care about her regrets. No second chances. Not for people who sell the first one for a gym membership and a few text messages about unemployed losers.